Right, we are live. Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the Kiwi Lads channel. We are back for another match of the URC, and also I should mention it is Halloween at the moment, so I hope you guys are all having a terrific Halloween. I had a different costume planned, but it didn't quite go the way that I expected, so I had to find this. And of course, this is just something that's lying around in my wardrobe, ready to go just in case I did have a moment just like this. But the South African derby, once again to the URC, it will be the Bulls going head-to-head with the Sharks in what will be a very exciting fixture. Now, both of these sides are missing a few of their Springboks. That is due to the Springbok side playing up against the Irish in only less than 1 week's time. But we will look through at the starting lineup and reserves for both of these lineups. For the Bulls, it is going to be Steenkamp at number 1, Duplessis at number 2, and Klopper at 3, then Steenkamp and Ruanokia slotting in as the locks. Marcel Kurtzia, Marco van Staren at number 7, and Steenkamp at number 8. Then Zach Berger and Chris Smith will be the 9 and 10 combination. Harold Foster and Cornell Hendricks in the centres. Seba Nkosi, David Kriel, and Johan Hulsen will be slotting in at the back. Then for the Sharks, they are going to be as follows: Machunu at number 1, Kieran van Veren at number 2. I've swallowed a lot of here already. And Thomas de Toy will be there at number 3. Then Geraint Grobbelaar at number 4. Hiron Andrews at 5. Richardson, Vincent Tachuka, and Pepsi Buthelezi there at number 8. Then Cameron Wright will be slotting in as the number 9. Biota Chamberlain at 10. Thacker Abrahams, Ben Tapawai, Francois Fenta, Werner Koch, and Apalele Fassi, the last man in the booth in the Sharks starting lineup. I just swallowed some more here. I'm going to put that down here just for now. My neck has got a beard rather than my face, but looking through at the benches for this one, a few very dangerous players. Grant Williams is one that certainly stands out for the Sharks alongside James Fenta. And then for the Bulls, Martin Zima, also Stravino Jacobs could have quite the impact later on in this fixture also. But looking through, first of all, at the way that the table is sitting, both of these sides would love to get themselves a big win here. The Bulls, if they win it, they would have to win it by 33 points. That would propel them ahead of the Stormers, who are currently sitting in 3rd. Whereas for the Sharks, if they get themselves the win here, it's got the potential of pushing them all the way up to that 4th place spot ahead of the Bulls. So we will have to wait and see whether or not that is the way that it is going to be going. But currently, the game is not too far away from kickoff, ladies and gentlemen. As soon as it does kick off, we will be doing the commentary for you lovely ladies and gentlemen as well. But do let me know your score predictions for this match, ladies and gentlemen. Do let me know if you feel that the Bulls can get the job done at Loftus, or whether it will be the Sharks who are able to get themselves a very handy win away from home. Currently, there is a lot of noise at the ground, which is absolutely awesome to see at Loftus, and both of these sides are going to be going out there and playing their absolute best. The Sharks, like they've said, they are very decent at travelling, and they will be hoping to use those big forwards, couple of those quick backs as well. Thacker Abrahams out on one wing, Werner Koch out on the other, and Apalele Fassi at the back. Certainly going to be a combination that the Sharks look to use to their advantage. But Marcel Kurtzia are going to be leading out his boys from the Bulls at Loftus. They have been in a decent vein of form at the moment for the URC. Seba Nkosi recently getting himself that call up to the Springboks. Johan Hulsen there in the SA15 side that are going to be taking on a couple opposition very soon as well. It does seem like the fans are very much getting behind these two sides, which is absolutely awesome to see. A South African derby is always one that when it kicks off, the tensions are high, but the respect is also there from both of the teams. But anyone who is just tuning in now, the reason I'm dressed like Santa, pretty much it is Halloween here in New Zealand. We have just ticked over. It is 2 a.m. I was initially going to be coming as something else to the live stream. Last year, we were Harry Potter. I couldn't go as Harry Potter again this year, though. I had to try and mix it up. Had something planned, and it didn't quite go to plan, unfortunately. So instead, we are Santa now. Seems to be the other choice that we went with for this one. But currently, the Bulls. Okay, they're actually just talking about losing streaks and whatnot for the Bulls. They always seem to be able to fire back, which is something that can be extremely handy in this competition. What the hell is Gareth? Welcome in, Gareth. Hope you are doing well, mate. This is a lot itchier than it looks, and it probably looks quite itchy as well. I don't know whether or not the beard will be sticking around for the whole of this live stream, but it's going to be Chris Smith who will be kicking off this one now for the Bulls. They are wearing their pink kit for this match. Now, we have seen Cornell Hendricks advertising this pink kit. A clip has been going around on Instagram of him just yelling profusely. And that's going to be kicked off high for this one. Nicely taken in the hands of Rubala. And now it looks like it's going to be a kick advantage or a kick opportunity here for Cameron Wright. Fires back into the pocket, and it will be Apalele Fasi who clears it off his left boot. Getting some good distance on that one. Nicely taken at the back by the Bulls, who look like they're going to be firing back a kick of their own. I believe that was Seba Nkosi that time. Tried to get it to roll on. Nice take from the Sharks, though. Apalele Fasi now once again will be kicking it on the left boot. He's seen a lot of space, and he gets almost a 50-22, but Johan Hussein was back there to be able to cut it off. Back downfield. Nicely done, it looks like. It's been called high from Biota Chamberlain. Okay, Abraham's trying to line it up. Chris Smith has not taken that one cleanly, and it's the knock-on against him. Yeah, and now the Sharks will have themselves the first scrum of the day. It's only taken 1 minute before we saw a scrum throughout this exciting fixture. But yeah, do let me know, ladies and gentlemen, who you think will be winning it. I'm thinking about removing this beard completely, but it's kind of attached to a lot of stuff. It's underneath a few things, but I think we're going to get rid of the beard. So we're going to drop the headphones, get rid of the hat. We're then going to get the beard over the top. It's stuck in the hair. There we go. We'll put the beard, well, not the beard, we'll put the hat back on like that. And then we'll go like that as well. There we go. Now you can see that I am just Santa underneath. That wasn't a real beard for anyone who was wondering. It was a fake one. I don't think anyone was wondering. Cameron Wright about to feed the ball in for the Sharks. Double blow the whistle here. It seems like there's a little bit of disruption there in the front rows. Machuno, Kieran Van Veeren and Thomas Tatoy going head-to-head with Stennekamp, Duplessis, and also Klopper. So some big power in the front rows for this matchup, but they could be relatively evenly matched throughout this contest. Cameron Wright about to feed this ball. And I should mention that actually this is the first live stream in a very long time that we will be doing a little bit of a commentary overlap, I guess you could say. So what we will be doing is sometime during the second half of this contest between the Bulls and the Sharks, we'll be switching over to our Rugby League World Cup commentary for the matchup between Tonga and the Cook Islands, while also keeping you guys updated on what is happening for this Bulls versus Sharks fixture. So it's a little bit of a duo commentary of two matches at once, but we have been able to do it before in the past, and it actually went not too badly in the past, so that is why we are going to be trying it again. But that will be in the second half of this fixture. We still get the full first half between these two sides, but once again, the two front rows will be going down. Kieran Van Veeren, a dangerous man who I thought was very close to making his way into the Springboks, did miss out, as they did only pick the two hookers with Umbanumbi, also Malcolm Marks. And then I guess you've got Dion Foree just in case as your other option. Cameron Wright about to put this ball in. The penalty goes the way of the Bulls, though. So the first scrum is actually going to be one against the feed, and it's the penalty against Thomas Tatoy. He did push just a little bit early against Gerhard Stennekamp. Collapse in the scrum is the penalty there, and Chris Smith now will be able to kick this one down towards the touchline. Looks like he's winding up that one. It has gone into touch nicely. I feel like those hairs from the beard are now just hanging around, which is unfortunate. They are just showing zooms in of Thomas Tatoy. He'll be disappointed to give away this penalty because it seemed relatively solid for a start, but then the angle just started dropping down. Marcel Kurtzia knew exactly what it meant, and it meant that they were going to be getting themselves the penalty. Now going into the front. Nicely taken by Stenkamp, but this time it goes the way of the Sharks. Okay, they've seen moving in there. I think that might have been something to do with the wrong numbers. Jean Bismarck Duplessis. Number 5, double banking obstruction is what that call is going to be. So that is against Ruan Nokia of the Bulls. So it seems like both sides giving away those little errors that they normally wouldn't in the early stages of the contest. Okay, you're taking away the possibility of a sack as the call there. So pretty much what happens is Ruan Nokia, he lifts the man and then he joins the line out so that he's in front of the number 4 who was able to take the ball. So it does mean that the opposition can't pull it down straight away. And that is what the penalty's for. But Kieran Van Veeren throws it in. Andrews takes it nicely. And now it looks like a rolling ball starting to open up here for the Sharks. Making a few extra meters here for the South Sea Sharks. Just inside of the half of the Bulls now, though. Cameron Wright has been told to use it. Got it off the back. A lot of pressure on him by Ruan Nokia. Now back across, top of wide. Gives it off to Chamberlain. It's going to be a drop ball there. And now the scrum feed will be going the way of the Bulls. So relatively even between these two sides early on. Just a little mistake. So this time it was actually Vinta who did end up messing up. And also we get there, how's it going? Says Ed Vogel. It is doing very well, mate. I have had to change Halloween costume about 3 times at the moment. Just because I originally was Harry Potter. Then from there, I ended up going to a different one, which you guys will actually see in our Springboks squad prediction. It's an interesting one overall. And then from there, I had to switch to this one. Well, the outfit, it is Halloween here in New Zealand, so I decided I would dress up. We did have it last year that we did have the Halloween costume. We were Harry Potter, so I decided to go with a different one. How's about the party, lad? It was all right overall. Not too many people there, but I feel like that in a way is relatively good as well, just because I didn't tire myself out completely before doing these live streams going through to 8 a.m. But that's a great scrum from the Sharks. Kick downfield from Chamberlain. Looks like he's found a bit of space in behind, looking for the 50-22, but cleaned up by David Krill. Nice step around Whaka Abrahams. And now he's got some space here, David Krill. Been able to jump over the top of Dylan Richardson's tackle attempt. Zach Berger at the back gives it off to Chris Smith. Now one more. It seems like the Bulls doing some unorthodox stuff here. They went for the cross kick. It didn't work out. Sebo Nkosi was waiting for it on the outside, but he did not manage to get it. Right, line out throw now for the Sharks. Currently 25 meters out from the line. But do let me know, ladies and gentlemen, are you planning anything for Halloween? Because for me, normally, I don't really do much for the Halloween side of things. But for some reason today, seemed like a good idea. And I love the outfit, Hamish. I have the Bulls to win 34-24 or 31-24. I have a bet down. Wish me luck. So you have to get that exact score, not your everyday cultist. Of course, Father Christmas for Halloween, says Pip. Yeah, there were some other Halloween costumes that were going to be in play. But unfortunately, they didn't quite work out. Great run from Cameron Wright. And now the Sharks going to be 5 meters out from the line. Thomas the Toy gives it off to Dylan Richardson. Still 5 meters out from the line here. Thomas the Toy going to be going off to the left-hand side. Machunu going to be held up nicely there. Only 1 meter short of the line. Still the advantage in favor of the South Sea Sharks as well. And that is going to be for the offside advantage. But yeah, pretty much. I'm going to go over here. There was a different plan for Halloween for my outfit. This should give it away pretty much. But, yeah, the fangs didn't stick and the cape looked like a rubbish bag. That was bag, I should say, with a B, just to clarify. And also, weirdest thing is, I want a hot chica to wear a similar costume and tell me I've been a naughty boy this year since Sebastian. And yes, I went with the exact score bet. Low stakes are only equivalent of around $15. Oh, that seems a little bit stingy from the betting company to only give you $15 for getting the exact score of the contest. Nicely stolen there. And now it's kicked downfield from the Bulls. Thaka Abrahams gets it nicely on the halfway line, gives it across to Upper Lelefasi, who now has time to try and run it back at the line. Zach Berger makes the tackle there. Good start for the Wallabies campaign. Regardless, winning by a point, France will be hard to beat. Love to see Laney Gleeson play more minutes. Not enough to see the expectation we have for him, says Ed. So, yeah, hopefully he does get himself a few more minutes in the near future. Definitely if Pete Samu is out for a little bit longer with his injury. Now it looks like Cameron Wright has been told to use it. He's going to be putting up the box kick here once again. The Bulls trying to line this one up. Chris Smith takes that one nicely. Dylan Richardson makes the tackle, but Bismarck Duplessis finds the offload to the captain, Marcel Kursa. There was no tackle wrap attempt there, and he might have knocked himself out in the process, unfortunately. Oh, no, I put down $15. And now running forward, Sebo Nkosi. There's a nice carry up the wing now. And also we get the waving from Fleshen in the chat. I like how this is the first one we've seen Fleshen for a while, and he'll come back and he'll just see me dressed as a Santa suit, and that's now going to be considered as the normal. I hope you have been well, Fleshen. I have also been keeping well, believe it or not. But yeah, fangs are hard to keep in. Sebastian, are yours attached or do you have to get them like glued in each morning? Because it's not easy, you know. You hit one there and you hit one there. They just don't stick. Then Tofawai, he ended up slipping into the tackle. It really ended up hurting his head as well. I could easily not do commentary with these in. They just don't work, unfortunately. It's kind of Vampire Santa. That is a scary combination. It's a penalty only, is the call there from the referee for Van Tuffelay. But he will be going off the field now for an HIA, I would think. And actually looks like he's going to be going off for more than that because he is going to be going off on a stretcher. It's been a wild few days here at Kiwi Lads. Entertaining to say the least. He's not your everyday cultist. And there's, oh yeah. If it proves anything, I think it's that we can adapt on the fly. I mean, fangs are permanent and none of the detached bollocks, says Sebastian. See, you're smart because these, like, I have no idea what you're supposed to do with them. While we've got a stoppage, I can kind of show you guys. So pretty much, you got the fang at the front. As you can see, at the back, there's this random little hole, which I don't actually know what you're supposed to do with. Like, I don't know whether you're supposed to actually maybe glue it onto your tooth. But I ain't doing that. Like, I'm committed, but I'm not that committed. I'm not willing to have a fang attached to my teeth for a stream. Instead, I became Santa, and I've already lost the Santa beard because it was way too hot and itchy. I mean, Tupperway, unfortunately, going to be down for quite some time here by the looks of it, which is a bit of a shame, as he does look like he's not going to be in a good way for a little while. It looks like they are almost taking on the first drinks break, though. So I should mention for anyone who is just tuning in now, we've got a little bit of a weird one coming up for this live stream. Pretty much there is a matchup between Tonga and the Cook Islands that is kicking off at, it will be 2:25, I should say, on the channel. And what we're going to be doing is we're going to be covering the first half of this one. Oh, the blood capsule is attached to. Ah, I see. You making sense, Grant, because they do come with blood, although they say not to put it on anything that might stain because it's not going to work out. And pretty much it is going to stain very badly. But yeah, the plan is to do the first half of this game and some of the second. And then from there, we are transferring over to the Rugby League World Cup. And we are covering the full-length match between Tonga and the Cook Islands while also keeping you updated on the score for the Bulls versus Sharks. So a little bit weird, but it is our first overlap that we've had in a long time. Last time we did something similar, it did work relatively well. So we are trying it out once again, just to see whether or not we can get away with it in future in terms of if there are little like 5 to 10 minute overlaps of matches just in the different sports. I've dropped me fang. There it is. And I was Sam Kane and Dan Coles to send him back home, who was the replacement. So I know that they have brought in Billy Harmon as Sam Kane's replacement. So it's great to see him getting an opportunity. He's been a tackler machine in the Bunnings EPC and also Super Rugby for a long time. So, yeah, I think he is going to be handy option. I don't know whether they'll use him, though. And also, I think Asafa Moore has been able to stay with the squad. But I do see returning to New Zealand A is actually going to be Damien McKenzie, Roger Tuivasa-Sheck going back to New Zealand A. So he will not be getting any more time for the All Blacks at this stage of the year. And then also Patrick Tuipulotu, another player, has been taken out. And also, Hamish, what did you think of the Stormers versus Lions game yesterday? My heart almost stopped. Luckily, we pulled through in the end. Says not your everyday cultures here. The Stormers are leaving it extremely late at the moment to make sure that they get themselves the wins. But a win's a win, I guess, at the end of the day. And I've also just made that up. I have no idea why the hole is there. And Grant Swartz in there from Fletcher with the smiley face. What happened to Roger Tuivasa-Sheck? They've just decided to take him back out and put him into the development side again. And then 24-3 South Africa, says Sunko Joseph in there as well. But now 10 minutes gone in this matchup. The time is going to be back on now. So hopefully he is going to make a relatively speedy recovery. But yeah, it seems like theoretically, a hole for me means that something's got to go in it. Science, isn't it? They come with this little bag that looks really bad. I should mention, this is to do with the fangs, ladies and gentlemen. It's not just a miniature bag of stuff that I found. But these look like they should fit into that hole at the back. But I have no idea what I'm doing with them. These are part of the Halloween costume. I need to clarify that, and I probably need to say it multiple times just because, you know, we don't want people getting the wrong idea. And Tuivasa-Sheck had such a good game. Don't understand why they're sending him home. So he's not everyday coaches. Or I don't know if they're sending him home, but they're sending him to Ireland. That's going to be a drop ball by Cornell Hendricks. So he might be taking part in the matchup between New Zealand A and Ireland in their upcoming matchup. On Ireland A, I should say. Too many midfielders, perhaps, says Ed Vogel. Yeah, quite a few out there for the ABs at the moment. A hole for me. Something's got to go into it. A title of Hamish 16. Gotta love a good old innuendo at about 2 a.m. in the morning, don't you? But that's another little mistake from the Bulls, which is something they certainly won't be too happy with. The holes are holes. They definitely need filling, usually with rain up here. And Sharks eat them, please, says Yeri. And holes, drugs. He used to be such a good boy. What has happened, says Sebastian there. I've been corrupted, haven't I? 64% position in favour of the Sharks for the early stages and moving him down to New Zealand B. I mean, says not your everyday cultist. But yeah, I think it's just maybe that the All Blacks, they feel they're not going to give him enough game time, so they'd rather have him getting game time for the All Blacks 15, which makes me think that he's got to be in their lineup. Because if he's not, that would make no sense at all. They are going to be playing on Saturday morning. That's going to be a nice early morning start for us here in New Zealand. My sleep schedule is going to be so weird next weekend because I thought it was weird this week. It's going to be even weirder next week. 12 minutes through at the moment in this game. Cameron Wright feeds the ball in for the Sharks. Now, it's going to be going back across to the side. Nice run from Francois Fenta. Now, Wright looking off into the pocket. Going to be giving it off to Machunu first, though. Back into the pocket from Cameron Wright. It's going to be fired downfield from Chamberlain. I can't wait for South Africa versus Ireland. Yeah, that's going to be an absolutely incredible game. Like looking through our international fixture we've got next week. First of all, there's too many overlaps, which is a shame because we've got to decide whether we're doing Scotland versus Fiji or whether we're doing Samoa versus Italy. Both are going to be outstanding games. I am actually hoping to have a co-commentator for one of them so that we can do both of those matches. So you guys know Rugby Itch has been on the channel a little bit in the past, and we are hoping to organise something in the future as well. That was a big yawn, but I tried to hide it, but I think it made it worse. Most anticipated game is Razor Barbarians game, says Ed. And how silly is it that they have that game taking place at the exact same time as the All Blacks play Scotland? That seems so dumb to me. Like, it seems like the worst possible timing that they could have gone with, they went with. Really weird. But yeah, All Blacks the All Blacks 15 versus Ireland A, that will be at 8:45 a.m. on Saturday morning. Then on Sunday morning, we have got Scotland versus Fiji, Italy versus Samoa, Wales versus New Zealand, Romania versus Chile, Ireland versus South Africa, Spain versus Tonga, and France versus Australia. And then on Monday, it will be England versus Argentina and Georgia versus Uruguay, but we will only be able to cover one of those games. And a couple of those other games that I did list are actually overlaps. It looks like Chris Smith going to be lining up the 3 points here. The first kick of the game, sitting 31 meters out. I just dropped me fang again. There it is. They're going to be ones that you cannot afford to lose. Because if you've only got one fang, you're just a wonky vampire, aren't you? That one has gone over from Chris Smith. So both New Zealand teams are going to lose on the same day, says Gareth. Brutal, but a possibility. At the end of the day, like Scotland, yes, they only just got past the Wallabies, but I think they're going to keep on improving. And I think we should be a little bit worried when they have to play up against the ABs. But 14 minutes into this game at the moment, it is going to be 3-0 for the Bulls, the home side at Loftus. Just about to be kicked off here by Chamberlain once again. Taking the deep breath. And he kicks it off down towards the 22. Nicely taken at the back. It's going to be WJ Stennekamp. Looks like Zach Berger will be kicking up the box kicking point. Need to start flying. My money is at stake. Says not everyday culture. So you mentioned it was 200 South African rand to win. So if you're talking $15 New Zealand that you've put on it, how much is it that you'd get back for your exact score line, not your everyday cultist? And is there any type of like bonus bet back if you get within like 5 or something like that? Or is it just you literally need to be perfect for your prediction? Now, it's going to get kicked downfield by David Creel. Let's work from Upper Lilifasi. Now, Zach Berger gets over it, wins the penalty in favor of the Bulls. That's why I don't gamble, says Ed Vogel. And there as well. Yeah, I'm a terrible gambler. Like, I think the only time I've ever had a bet is when I've had a bonus bet. And then other than that, I do try my best not to do any just because I'm so bad at guessing. As you guys know, my score predictions are always extremely wonky. I am just checking the odds for this match while I'm at it. Ladies and gentlemen, I should mention Upper Lilifasi did extremely well. Keep that one in the field of play, but did just end up going straight into the tackle of Zach Berger for the exact score. Perfect. I get ×5 on my bet. Win for the Bulls gives me ×2. Says, not everyday culture. So only ×5. Is it just me or does that seem really low? Because, like, ×5 for getting an exact score in a game that has, like, hundreds of possibilities of a score seems weird. It's going to be now the penalty going in favor of the Sharks. So these two sides have been at quite a stalemate throughout the early stages of the contest. I will mention for the Rugby League live stream, we aren't going to be wearing our Santa costume. We are going to be back to just the normal formal attire. I haven't got the tie on, but I've got like the dress shirt. So I'll probably just end up leaving that. Now, scrum option from just outside of their 22. Does Thomas Toy want it? No, instead, they will be kicking this one for the touchline. Both sides not really given much of an inch throughout the first 20 almost minutes of this contest. Seems like we're going to have another bit of a stalemate, similar to what we saw between Scotland and Australia. So, yeah, the Bulls, they were just rushing up a bit too quickly there, got themselves offside, which is why they did end up with the penalty against them. But Kieran van Veeren going to throw this ball in for the South Africans. Nicely taken. Robela has done nicely to claim it. Kieran van Veeren starts to get it rolling forward as well now. Now Cameron Wright puts up the box kick. Sending it really high, and also the more the original amount you put down, the more it gets multiplied by basically. Says that was not everyday cultures, and also we have got the afternoon Hamish O'Connor playing this weekend. They have already played. They've managed to get themselves a narrow win. And I believe it was 22 points to 19 in their matchup up against, I want to say they played Benetton, but I could be wrong with that. Have you seen the new FIFA World Cup jersey? Nike have done a few countries dirty, though. Says Ed, I haven't actually seen the FIFA World Cup kits yet, but the fact that that's only about a month away is quite impressive with how long ago it seemed that they did end up doing the draw. I guess it's like the Rugby World Cup draw, isn't it? How they did it so far out from the competition that everyone's just waiting. And then soon we are going to get to see it actually take place. It's going to be kicked in behind by Zach Berger. So Werner Koch has to go back and clean it up. Just kicks it out. 5 meters out from the line. Had no real choice but to just put that one into touch. The Ospreys, who they were playing in the matchup. But yeah, good win for Connacht up against a tough Osprey side. And nice thanks, says Finton. And there as well. But currently still 20 minutes left of this half. The Bulls having a bit of a team huddle. I believe they will be allowed a drinks break at some stage relatively soon. The lineouts won, though, for the Bulls. They've only won 60%. Fleschen's team, says Sebastian. I see it. Also, Sebastian, I did see that you commented on that Rugby League Live 4 video. That was a very long, drawn-out title in a way. But I did see your comment about George at the end with the South African side of things. And you are very right how he was just any opportunity you get. I mean, he took a dig at France, and then he just dug into the South Africans as well right at the very end. It was all about advertising and branding. FIFA, good marketing though, says Ed there. And also over there's fighting words, the Scarlets, says Gareth, now only 5 meters out from the line near the Bulls. Zach Berger goes off to the right-hand side. Going to be a nice link up in the midfield. Harold Foster, it's going to be the try. And Johan Olsen has got himself the try there. Beautifully done by the Bulls. Getting the draw and pass right, and they will now get themselves a bit more of a lead at this stage of the match. And also, we're going to make Flesham very angry, says Grant. Johan Husson does it very nicely for himself. And also the laughing face. And how dare you, sir? The Jacks never, says Flesham. It was a nice draw and pass from Chris Smith. I think it then went to Harold Foster, who got the draw and pass right. And Johan Husson does manage to finish it off. Or does he? They want to check this one. I don't know what they want to check, but they want to check it nonetheless. Okay, they think there might have been a forward pass right at the end of that play. That is something that the Bulls certainly wouldn't have been wanting for them to have a look at. And also, I'm a red Turk forever, says Fleshin. Okay, worst comes to worst, they're going back to the penalty. 5 meters out from the line for his hands on the ground in the rolling maul. But they want to check this forward pass first. Once we have the coverage. They are just trying to find it. There we go. The TMO is now going to be looking for this pass from Chris Smith. See if it was for just taking the piss. It's like calling me a Saracens fan, says Sebastian. Yep, I would say that's a forward pass. Yep, forward pass from Chris Smith. It is going to be going back, and the penalty will be in favour of the Bulls for the Sharks player being off his feet. I believe it was Thomas DeToy who was going to be penalised for that one. Okay, they've looked at that one about 2 more times than they probably needed to. Clearly gone forward out of the hands. Okay, and it's going to be the penalty in favour of the Bulls now. So they'll still have a good opportunity to try and attack here. But they will have to try and get over the line. Once again, my money says not every day. Got say hi there, Kiwi lads. Your outfit is absolutely fabulous. Aim is great stuff in this match. Is this match up to high standards today? I would say currently not quite for this match. I think both sides building into it. We've seen quite a few handling errors and quite a few penalties against both sides. But once they start finding their feet, I think they are going to be a very dangerous one indeed. But Roof, I did have the beard on early on for the Santa look. It was very itchy though, so I did end up taking it off. But yeah, it would have been all right had it not been made of like that weird fibrous plastic. Is that the right way of wording it? Probably not. But Zach Berger goes for the grubber in behind. Almost a brilliant finish in the corner, but they're going back again. Oh, bit of a wrestle there from Emmanuel. Oh no, sorry, it was Vincent Tachuka. Was having a bit of a fight with Bismarck du Plessis, and won't it be? It was an easy bite. I spit my cheap vino out his flesh. Sorry, vino, I should say. That is a type of wine, isn't it? Vino Penoir? Penoir? Is that the same thing? No, that's a different type of wine. Flesh, and I'm not very good when it comes to wine, as you've probably worked out now. I know that there is a something blanc. And there's something that's like that. No, I can't think of what are the types of wine, Fleshin? Do let me know. Sorry about that, Fleshin. But to my credit, at least I didn't mention the game against Leinster until now. Says Sebastian, and the Sharks had 2 weeks to prepare for this one. Says not every day coaches on behind the Bulls today. With or without beard is good for me. Have a blast there. Go Bulls and Vino de crap. Says Fleshin. Oh. Okay, so the Bulls actually had the penalty, but because Bismarck du Plessis doesn't have a brain, it's actually going to be a reverse penalty, and the Sharks instead are going to have themselves the ball. Hi, says Tyson West. Welcome in, mate. I hope you are doing very well. It's great to see you for this URC live stream. It seems like the referee is just still having a chat with the two sides, making sure they know exactly what the ruling is in terms of what they're allowed to do. So, yeah, no arms tackle from Bismarck du Plessis on Vincent Tachuka. Did cause a little bit of afters as well. Bismarck du Plessis, you'd have to say he's one of the dirtiest players in the game, and there is a reason that he does get himself in so much trouble. It's just pretty much he just doesn't think. And Bismarck, the idiot, So he's not your everyday cultist there. Yeah, they've gone from being 5 meters out from the line with an advantage to now being 5 meters out from the line with the advantage, but instead it's the advantage for the Sharks, and they will be able to kick it downfield and relieve that pressure. We kick nicely. And to touchdown, and also we are going to go on, we deserve it. And then I can justify a rant about Italian refs, says Fleshin, and there as well. Now, it's going to be the line-out throw for the Sharks. So anyone who isn't aware, at the about 60th minute in this game, maybe a little bit later, we'll be swapping over to a rugby league live stream, but we will actually still have this live stream going, and we will have it just screen sharing so you guys can see exactly what the score is right up until the end of the game, and then from there we will be over on that other live stream, like I mentioned. Shannon Blanc is crisp, Drew White drunk, best chilled with fish, says Roof there, and also go on, we deserve it. I think I can justify a rant about Italian refs and get this man into a retirement home. We all know you're not allowed to tackle Dan Carter either, says not your everyday cultist, but Kieran Van Veeren, he threw it in. It was nicely done by the Sharks initially, but Hiram Andrews. It's actually one of the penalties that we saw earlier on in the game, and that involved just a little bit of obstruction at line-out time. So Chris Smith might be able to line up this kick, try and make it a little bit more in favour of the Bulls at this point of the contest. He looks very concentrated, mainly because it's frozen. Okay, now it's not frozen, so he is not concentrated anymore. I would say even non-Welsh viewers said that Andrea Piardi was the worst ref they've ever seen. Appalling, says Sebastian there. And also we were there, 2011 reference as well. Says not everyday cultist. That one's gone over nicely for Chris Smith. And that is now going to make the score 6 points. Now look at Santa. And this says Atini, it certainly is, although we did have the beard earlier on. But for now, we have just got myself with the hat, the coat, and the belt as well, which you guys can't really see unless I put it up a little bit higher. But for now, it just sits down at the waist, holding my belly in place. 6-0 now for the Bulls over the Sharks. Commentators have just said that the Sharks need to play a little bit more rugby. It's a handy stat, I guess you could say, seeing as they are on the rugby field. Now it's going to be nicely taken by, I believe that was Volt Stenkamp. Zach Berger now going back across to the left-hand side. Now I notice that they don't have a scoreboard on the screen at the moment, which is a little bit unfortunate, but it is for now going to be 6-0 in favour of the Bulls after around that 26-minute mark. Looking like it's going to be the box kick from Zach Berger. The thing is, the Bulls have had a decent amount of attack throughout this first half. It's just their little mistakes that have actually led them to not being able to get over the try line. But the big thing for me is if they can get it right here in the near future, I think that's going to be extremely dangerous. And maybe they can find themselves with a decent lead going into halftime. I see that my coverage is frozen again. It seems to be every live stream at the moment that it seems to freeze. I'm not a Mike Adamson fan, and the Stormers versus Ulster semi last season, he was absolutely shocking. I was there at the stadium to see it. He clearly missed a very easy forward pass call to Rob Balakoon, says not your everyday cultist. And there as well. Right, what we are going to be doing is we're going to be transferring over to my phone once again to watch the coverage, because my PC once again has decided it doesn't like the Wi-Fi. So we're going to go here. We're going to go here and here. And also my dad falls off the bed. Hopefully he is going to be all right then. If he has taken a bit of a tumble down the side. Right, we've got the coverage back up. It's on my phone. It's very weird, but I don't think I can actually touch any buttons on my PC now. That's one of the rules. So if I touch my PC, something's probably going to freeze. Okay, we have transferred over to our eardrums, and it says please connect to the internet with like some sort of network error at the moment on my screen. So we will just play on for now. Sebastian Gorama. Honestly, it was an interesting performance by the gentleman, says Fleshin. And also my dad and I laughed, says Etini. So as long as he was all right and can have a laugh about it, there's going to be a big push there from the Bulls. But the Sharks have been able to get themselves the penalty in the process for the front row angling in. And also, just Gareth and Fleschen have been behaving themselves. They have indeed. Overall, I don't think we've seen any problems from them as of yet. I'm probably the one who's been misbehaving the most, the big V8 show, to be honest. I just realized that this is also the first time we've seen you in a little while, and I am wearing a Santa suit. Happy Halloween. Hope you're doing well on this Halloween day. Although for a lot of you guys, now that I think about it, we're like one of the only places that actually have Halloween at the moment. New Zealand have it. Australia are just ticking over to it. Anyone in the Pacific Islands? Happy Halloween. But other than that, I think everyone else is still waiting for it to become the 31st. Bjorta Chamberlain, though, going to be lining up this kick now for the Sharks. And Sebastian has been having a go or two at Fleschen. Says, not every day, cultist, and we always behave. Says Gareth in there as well. They're saying first points of the match for this LC Sharks could be coming up here. And he's got it. So it's going to make the score 6 points to 3. Right. The coverage almost came back for me on my screen. So what we're going to do is we're going to go like that. We're going to go like that. And we're going to risk it and see if it is going to behave itself. But we have still got it actually on my phone because I don't think it's going to. The Halloween parties were yesterday and the day before here, says the Big V8 show. So I guess you guys probably had them on Friday and Saturday night, didn't you, rather than the Sunday night, like it is going to be setting up here in New Zealand. It's kicked downfield from Cameron Wright. It's a good clearing kick, though. Let's get it downfield. Now with 11 minutes left of the first half, the Bulls have got themselves the line out. So still very close in this game, though, between the two sides. Hopefully the scoreboard keeps on behaving. There it is. And also I only slag those that I love, says Sebastian. I'm glad you said slag and not a different word that's also 4 letters and quite similar to that. Although I guess depending on how you look at it, maybe it does make sense. I'm just going to be quiet now because I realized that sounded like an incest joke, but it wasn't meant to be. It also nothing like some good old rugby banter. Says not everyday cultures. And of course, yes, sir, says the Big V8 show. That was a brilliant kick from the Bulls. I think David Krell, very unfortunate with that one, spending an inordinate amount of time on my Halloween costume, says the Big V8 show. What did you end up going as, mate? Do let me know. I was Harry Potter, but I switched out of that. I actually wiped off my scar because it just was not quite suiting the Santa attire. I could have been Harry Potter again, to be fair. We were Harry Potter last year, though, so I thought I would mix it up, go with something a little bit different. And Sebastian Kurama, all born of a shared love for Blackpool, says Fleschen. Kieran van Ferren about to go for the line-out throw. It's going to be nicely taken there by the Sharks. Kieran van Ferren at the back. Cameron Wright just received that one. Goes straight up with the kick. That's really gone nowhere. And Bavuma made double digits, says Gareth in there. And currently they're playing India, aren't they? Can I get Rugby Challenge 4 and a Rugby Ball Santa? Says Atini. Ooh, it's a good question. A Rugby Ball and Rugby Challenge 4. I feel like it's a good combination. Be sure that your dad and everyone in your family is also close by, because maybe for your birthday or something, they might consider getting you something along those lines. I was a heavily bloodied, psycho-looking butcher, says the Big V8 show. Nice. I know someone at the Halloween party that I went to a bit earlier on, which felt very weird because I was like, hey, guy, I showed up, stayed there for a few hours, and then I was like, I've got to go. I've got to do about 6 hours of talking to myself, although I didn't quite word it that way. But that's probably what they heard, which is kind of weird, isn't it, when you think about it? But like someone got some fake blood, and it looked like it was a good idea. They put some down their mouth, so that was all right. And then their friend wanted them to put some on them. So they put a splatter on their forehead. It was running down their face, and I think it stains. So they're going to have like red marks down their face and everything for the next like 2 days, unfortunately. So the last thing they will want is any more fake blood in the future, I would think. A Psycho Pizza Killer. And remember that Springbok Bull, yep, A Web Flat says the Denny and can't wait to return to Blackpool. Your outfit has reminded me going to spend Christmas in Blackpool this year. Says Sebastian, that one hasn't found touch by the Sharks, and now running it back, it will be Creel. Tries to go through. Been taken down quite nicely by the defence. Now Chris Smith looking to skip his way through. Does find the offload that is Zach Berger. Now back across. It's going to be in the hands of the big number 3, Francois Klopper. Yes, the mustache was the finishing touch to the outfit, said the Big V8 show. Now they are going to be going back. Just a little mistake. I believe that's actually going to become the penalty in favour of the Sharks now as well. And also 40 for 3, 92 needed off 58. Says Gareth. Okay, so it's going to be relatively tough for them, you would think, to be able to get there. But if they can, they will certainly be very happy with it. Yeah, just a knock-on /4 pass from Johan Husson to Cornel Hendricks, whose video, if you haven't already seen it, him doing the celebration for the pink kit is the funniest thing you will ever see on Instagram from the Blue Bulls. And I guess I have to exfoliate hard to get rid of all of the bloodstains on my neck, face, and arms also, said the Big V8 show. And there as well, because I know that with my fangs that I have here, my little vampire fangs, they do say that if you're going to use the fake blood, you should not use it with any clothes you don't intend to throw out straight afterwards. And look at my profile pic. There it is, the Springboks ball. And I was like, are you really? That actually sounds fun. Christmas dinner in the tower, says Fleshin. And there's also currently, it is a water break. That has reminded me how thirsty I currently am. So at halftime, I probably will end up going and getting some water. If that is all right with everyone. And on the bright side, my skin is silky smooth now, says the Big V8 show. Yeah, I guess that is a very good point. But yeah, the big question at the moment for me is what time of this live stream do we then transfer over to our rugby league live stream? So pretty much at the end of this matchup, or relatively close to the end, we are going to be switching over to our rugby league live stream while also continuing the commentary for this matchup. But it's just going to be the scoreboard for this matchup, I think I should say. And then we will end it as soon as the match has finished as well, if that makes sense. We're trying to juggle it. We were initially going to have Rugby Itch on the channel. Too many water breaks in these URC games. Slows the game down far too much, and my ball is dead, says it Denny there. It's going to become the penalty now to the Bulls. But yeah, we were going to have Rugby Itch doing the URC commentary for the last 20 minutes or so, but sadly, he can't actually watch the URC, where he is, or he hasn't got an account to have access to it, I should say. And also Flexion with the thumbs up from Sebastian. And also you're getting good views for the league as well, says Gareth. We are doing a lot better with the league than I did expect. Like initially, my intention for the league was going to be like pretty much just watch along with a game of rugby league that I know hardly anything about and just chill out with you guys while watching a new World Cup pretty much. And it's done a lot better than I could have ever anticipated for some of those live streams. Like we seem to have built up a little bit of a Papua New Guinean audience, which is incredible because I wouldn't have guessed that we would get a Papua New Guinean audience, I guess. I knew that for the likes of a Samoa game, we may do all right because we already have our Samoan audience built up. But yeah, it's done very well, the Rugby League World Cup. And it's been a lot of fun following along with the competition. And I think the big thing is, even if like there were 5 to 10 people watching those live streams, still would have done as many as I've done just because it is awesome getting to, I guess, commentate different sports. That's going to go over. And now Chris Smith makes the score 9 points to 3. With some luck, Hamish, this game might reach a point around the 60th minute when one of the teams get close to sealing the win. Maybe if someone leads by 8+ at the 60 mark, says Sebastian. Yeah. Hopefully we see some tries. I've just realized we haven't seen a single try in this game, have we? Well, this matchup. But yeah, hopefully someone pulls away, which at the moment doesn't seem like it is that lucky or that likely until if the Bulls score now, I'd say that they've got a good chance of getting a nice lead. But we will still keep you updated with what is happening in this one. I reckon channels like these have some of the most diverse demographics. Says not everyday cultures. Yeah, our audience, it's like Azerbaijan. We had someone viewing from Azerbaijan on the Japan versus New Zealand match. And I want to say we've probably ticked off around over 150 countries around the world. We've had at least one viewer from who has commented, which is like pretty incredible. And hi, Hamish, do you smell an upset next week? Wales beating the ABs? I think the All Blacks are certainly going to have to be wary because Wales are going to be a tough side at home at the Principality. And they can't underestimate them because I think they slightly underestimated Japan and they almost lost to Japan 2021 September 6th to October the 29th, 2022. Says Atene there, but it's a little knock on from the Bulls. Now the Sharks will have themselves a scrum feed. Because, of course, the other option is to end at halftime, but it seems too far away from the kickoff of the next game, if that makes sense. Like, we've still got another, 25 minutes after this half, maybe even 30 minutes left till our next live stream gets underway. So, yeah, I think we'll wait till a little bit later on, around that 60-minute mark. We'll hopefully be able to see roughly who's going to get themselves the win. I also have to change out of the Santa suit for the next live stream, but that won't be too hard. And the Australian colony of the Lebanon are doing okay at the moment. Yeah, they had a good win over Jamaica. I did see the last I saw of that score, it was about 58 points to 8 in favour of Lebanon. So I believe they will be able to go through as Ireland were defeated by the Kiwis. And also, you haven't probably made it until you have a viewer from Antarctica. Exactly right. One day, we're going to tick it off. Although, the weird thing is, on the YouTube analytics, they won't tell us we've had a viewer from Antarctica because it doesn't count as a country, sadly. It would count as a continent. So, in a weird way, we could have already had someone view from there, but we just wouldn't know. But I feel like someone's got to say in the comments, hi from Antarctica, and not be taking the piss. If that is the case, that would be like the day that we get a party popper out and we celebrate big time. Beautiful ball there from Creel to Marcel Kutzer. And he's been able to score it beautifully between the sticks. That is what the Bulls needed. And Pink Bulls versus the Sharks. And it's hardly doing well at the moment. Or Lebanon is hardly doing well at the moment, said the big VHO. And also 68-12 at the moment, says Fleshin. And in Checker we trust, says Gareth. And Hamish, you reckon in 5 to 10 minutes before the start of the rugby league game, says not your everyday contest. Yeah, somewhere around there should be a nice balance of being able to jump straight over to the next one. But yeah, I'm looking forward to that game. Tonga versus the Cook Islands. It's going to be a hard-hitting Pacific Island battle. I'm slowly learning more and more about the players as well, which I think is pretty awesome. But I know that they have got the massive return of Taumalolo going to be off the bench. Is that who I'm trying to think of? I think it is, isn't it? Jason Taumalolo, he's back. Yes, he is. Going to be the interchange player at number 13 for this matchup. So he's going to be one to watch out for as he hasn't been able to play any of the Rugby League World Cup so far. And Sharks are missing their Bok players, says Cameron in there. Although you'd have to say the Bulls to an extent are also missing some of their Boks. But great work there from Marcel Kurtzer to be running as quick as the big man was. It's pretty handy for them. And the Bulls supporters were certainly fired up with that one. Now the score is going to be a little bit more in favour of the Bulls, sitting 16 points to 3 with that conversion going over. So with 2 minutes left, I think the Bulls are trying to help us relatively highly, I guess you could say. And hey, Sebastian, whereabouts are you from? Says not everyday cultures. If someone claims to be from the land of the frozen, I'll chuck them a Discord link and they have to prove it with a short clip. They have to say up the Kiwi lads while standing on a glacier. Says Sebastian. That would be a pretty amazing clip, wouldn't it? GC Connacht versus Ospreys game. I didn't get to watch it, but I did see the score. Close game, but Connacht getting themselves the win. That's very true, says Flesh in there. But now 1 minute 30 left of the half. The Bulls back into the pocket. And Chris Smith will be kicking it downfield. Do you guys ever get that feeling like you could just drink like 1.5 litres of water easy? I feel like I've got that at the moment. So at halftime, in a minute's time, I am actually going to go and get myself a drink. And I'm probably going to fill up a massive bottle of water and probably have it finished by the end of the morning. One's going to be going into touch from Chris Smith. Good touch finder from him. And also, would anyone like to adopt Sean Everett for free, no transfer cost? Says Gareth. And now the Bulls. It's a nice kick downfield. The Sharks have got one last opportunity here at the end of the half. And it doesn't look like the fans are too happy in some of the sections. The ones going for the Sharks, that is. The Bulls supporters, they'll be relatively happy with how that first half has been going for them. And also, I'm a Black Pudlian vampire, says Sebastian. And there as well. Now, nice ball. Chamberlain gives it off to Fenter. Of course, we did see Tapawai unfortunately go off the field on a stretcher. That is what actually used up about 5 or 6 minutes at the start of this contest, which if it didn't have that 5 to 6 minutes, this game would have been close to probably finished on time. Nice run forward, though, from the Sharks. This is going to be a classy try from the number 23 replacement. The Sharks have scored it. Putgaitsa has got in there right at the end of the first half. I'm going as nothing, says Tenian there as well. And that is brilliantly done by the Sharks, getting themselves the last minute try in this contest for the first half. That is in Romanian. This is not the everyday contest. You have nailed it on the head there with that guess. Great step, though. Then he accelerates, goes fast, goes hard at the line, breaks through, and Putgaitsa does score the try. I think his mouthguard came flying out because the ground was a lot harder than he had anticipated. But now, with a kick to come, it should be nice and easy straight out in front of the post, and this will make it halftime in this contest. 16 points to the Bulls and 10 to the Sharks as well. That is nicely over from Biota Chamberlain, and Lions almost won, says Atini, and also we there, says Sebastian. And there's also quickly, ladies and gentlemen, what we are going to be doing is we're going to be away for about 2 minutes. I'm just going to quickly fill up a drink bottle. I didn't realize how thirsty I would get throughout this live stream. It is relatively hot in the Santa attire, so maybe that is also why I am slightly parched. So what we will be doing is we'll just have the scoreboard on the screen for a couple minutes. Then we will be back and we will continue having a bit of a chat about halftime. But I will see you all in a very short moment. Right, we are back, ladies and gentlemen. I have found myself the biggest cup I could find, as I felt it was going to be thirsty work in the second half of this matchup. It was a good first half overall. Like the last 5 to 10 minutes really lit the game on fire. But yeah, it's going to be interesting. So who can get themselves the victory in the end. There we go. Drinking. I should mention it's water, ladies and gentlemen. When I want to drink some of that of those slags' bloods. And hi, I hope you are well, says 11J. Said we certainly are. We are currently dressed as Santa, as it is Halloween here in New Zealand. But the next live stream that we've got a Rugby League World Cup live stream. So that's going to be an entertaining one to do on the channel. And then after that, we have got another live stream that will be another Rugby League World Cup one with Samoa taking on France. Should also be very impressive. But they are just showing Potgieter's try that he was able to get right at the end of the first half. That has kept the Sharks in this contest now. And all they need is one big play in the start of the second half to get themselves into the lead. And yeah, Gareth Loza STD infected blood around the seaside, says Sebastian. And also we have got there, we understand, to leave North Pole in October, says Richard. Pretty much, we were supposed to be a vampire, but the fangs kept falling out and the cape looked like a rubbish bag, so I switched to Santa. But it's very warm at the moment. It's currently sitting 12 degrees, which may not sound very warm, but for it being this time of the night, plus the lighting that I've got set up, it does actually get quite warm in this corner of the lounge. But yeah, they are just showing that try on repeat many times for Potgieter when he was able to score. I think someone's won a ute, possibly, at the moment. And also trying to multitask, watching you, the rugby guru, and the cricket, says 11J said. So that will be certainly a tough one to be able to balance. And also slow GPing the Hamish. You ate still tied from yesterday. Lots of rugby, says Ruth in there as well. Yeah, we have got quite a bit more rugby league tonight. We've got another 4 hours or so worth of streaming that we are going to be doing. But in 5 hours' time, we would have almost finished our live streams for the afternoon or the weekend, I should say, other than on Tuesday morning at 8:30 a.m. we are going to be doing the game between Papua New Guinea and I believe they are going to be playing Wales. We are going to be covering that game on the channel. And then after that, I think our next live stream might be actually the Women's Rugby League World Cup. I think that starts on Wednesday. So there's plenty on at the moment in the world of rugby and rugby league, but we have got plenty more coming up on the Kiwi Lads channel. So anyone who is new, be sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. Currently halftime, they are giving 250,000 Rand to the Pink Drive. I do see there, which I believe is actually the main talking point of this game of the URC. It is a cancer awareness one, and I believe they are making a lot of money for the Cancer Society. We have got there actually winners Australia playing in the cricket again, says Richard. I know that they were supposed to be playing England. That game's been postponed, but I'm not too sure when it is going to be taking place now. Sorry, Hamish, we are joking about the Northern English Seaside Resort slowly dying. That TWD could really be set in, says Fleshin in there as well. Seaside Resort. I mean, a seaside resort sounds nice, but then by the sounds of it, you don't want to go to that one in the Northern English region of the world. But position, a little bit in favour of the Bulls. Tackle percentage made, we've actually seen 91% of tackles being made by the Sharks compared to the Bulls, who have been missing quite a few throughout the last little while. So we'll be disappointed with that. And Lebanon have won their Rugby League World Cup, says Patrick Brady. So they will, I believe, will be going through to the next stage. And yeah, it's going to be interesting to see who they match up with in the quarterfinals. It's going to be quite difficult in the near future, unfortunately, because I know that some of the international games of rugby union overlap with the games of the Rugby League World Cup. So we're going to have to try and do a little bit of multitasking, a little bit of juggling of the commentary. Sebastian, you any good at rugby league commentary? Do let me know. And also, yeah, the Pink Drive is the big breast cancer fund here in South Africa. The Proteas have also taken part in it. Says not everyday cultures and also Australian next match is Ireland. That's why I ask, says Richard. And there's and also we have their 87 for 3 predictor South Africa 78% to win. See, that will be a massive win to get it over the Indians as well, because that is a side that certainly can build momentum. They got themselves that last minute win up against the Pakistanis. And yeah, it's going to be interesting. See who manages to get themselves the win. I hope South Africa do win it, though, because I know that they've had a rained-off game already in this Cricket World Cup. They were supposed to be playing Zimbabwe, which I think should have been a nice, easy win for the South Africans as well. But now, looks like both sides surely about to make their way back out onto the park. It is currently 3 a.m. here in New Zealand. So even with that 6-minute injury that we did have with Ben Tupperwai, we still wouldn't have been able to get this half in before we have to switch over to the Rugby League World Cup. So that is only going to be about maybe 14 to 20 minutes away that we will be transferring over. And Hamish, thoughts on the game? Slow start, hectic finish to the half, though. So it seemed like both sides took a little bit of time to really adapt, and then after that, they were able to do nicely and start to build themselves into some decent form, I guess you could say, for the later stages. How was Zimbabwe beating Pakistan? They have been on a hell of a run of late. And glad to see Markram doing well. And England had 2 each rained off, says Richard. And they say, yeah, unfortunately, the weather in Australia has really not turned up for this Cricket World Cup, which is a big shame because the last World Cup, it was whoever did the batting or the bowling first. I can't remember what way around it was. They always won. And now this World Cup, it seems to be that the rain is going to be maybe the deciding factor of a majority of the games. A lot of games getting down to the Duckworth-Lewis system, which is always a bit of a gamble. And there as well, right, the 2 sides, I would like to think, are very close to making their way out onto the field. They are cheering. Is that because the players are making their way back out there? No, doesn't look like it just yet. But they'll be close, I would be thinking. Yeah. Sometimes you just get those evenings that you feel like you could drink like 5 litres of water and be completely fine. Of course, you won't be completely fine if you drink 5 litres of water, but you just feel like you would be. And also, I just wish the bad weather hadn't wiped off the flair of the World Cup. You can't possibly argue that this is a fair tournament anymore. Yeah. Sadly, it's all come down to weather. And even the teams that make it through to the quarterfinals will still feel a little bit like, meh. Oh, in fact, sorry, the semi-finals, I should say, will still be like, meh. Don't know whether or not we do completely deserve it making it through to that stage. And also, don't tell me it's going to be a repeat of the one Cricket World Cup where South Africa was going to beat England at Lords, but the game got rained out in the 90s. Says not your everyday cultures, and Connacht won last night to make it 3 in a row. Says Richard. So, yeah, they're finding themselves some nice form at the moment, Connacht. Does look like the 2 sides have made their way back out onto the field now, which is good news for ourselves. So pretty much we will have about the first 10 to 15 minutes of this half, ladies and gentlemen. Then what we will be doing is we will be transferring over to our other live stream for the Cricket World Cup. Or that's a lie. Don't listen to that. We will be transferring over to our next live stream, which is the Rugby League World Cup matchup between Tonga and the Cook Islands. Throughout that game, we will be keeping you updated with what is happening in the Bulls versus the South Sea Sharks game. But then alongside that, we will be doing the commentary for Tonga versus the Cook Islands. So it's going to be an exciting one. A little bit of a dual commentary style we're going to find ourselves doing in the next hour or 2. And once we're so close, mate, the frustration continues though. Yeah. So close yet so far away. Like 1 point's brutal to lose by. And definitely when you've had so many opportunities to be able to almost creep it, like they just needed one little part to go their way and they could have had it. But it just wouldn't quite fall that way. And Hamish, is your Halloween party tonight, says Richard. It was actually last night. So pretty much I ended up going up there at about 5:30-ish, I think it was. So I ended up sleeping from about, what time did I sleep from? Maybe about 8 a.m. yesterday morning till about 2:30. So I got about 6.5 hours sleep. Then from there, set up the live streams, got the video finished and edited, and got it up on the channel for us playing Samoa versus France on Rugby League Live 4. Headed to the party at about 5:30 p.m. Ended up going home at about 9:30, as it was 30 minutes away, so we did have to travel a little bit further. And also, what channel are you using for Rugby League? We will actually be doing it on the main channel. We've decided that because it's outside of the NRL, it does mean that the copyright system is a little bit more lenient, I guess is the best way of describing it. So anytime we've did the NRL in the past, we do it on the Kiwi Lads Sport channel just because we didn't want to risk that copyright strike. But because the Rugby League World Cup, it seems to be, I guess, they're allowing content creators to actually make content on it. Does mean that we have been doing it on the main channel. The current form they're in, I'm taking Springboks A by 10, says Sebastian. And how do you think Munster will fare against South Africa? I really hope they show those games here in New Zealand. Is my big thing, because if they didn't, I would be very sad and would have to try and find a random account somewhere in the world with a VPN so that I can actually watch those games. So strange to think that you're watching rugby on a Monday morning. Nice way to start the week, says Not Your Everyday Cultist. To an extent, a nice way to start the week. Like the last game today that we are doing, it's the Rugby League World Cup. There's going to be a beautiful offload. Port Kaita almost had another opportunity there, but the Bulls currently on their own 22-meter line with the advantage in their favour as well. But Zach Berger kicks it downfield. They will be going back for the scrum. But yeah, the last game will be finishing at 8 a.m. New Zealand time that we are covering. So pretty much I'll be sleeping through most of Monday, and then I'll be working from whenever I wake up in the afternoon, doing a bit of building. Luckily, my boss is very lenient. That's because it's my dad. So he allows me to sleep in on weekdays if I need to. And then I'll probably do a bit of work in the evening up to about maybe 5 or 6. And then I might travel to visit a lady, my lady friend. And also 6 hours is more than I will ever get, says Richard in there. So yeah, it's weird, isn't it? When you think about sleeping and how much different people get and how much different people require to be able to sleep. Like I used to be one of those people who needed like 10 or 11 hours of sleep just to function. But more recently, I've been able to function off kind of 6 to 8 hours. And I don't know whether that's because I've just, I guess, gotten used to being tired, or whether it's just because I can't really afford to sleep for 11 hours anymore with the amount that we've got on with working and YouTubing and everything else. It does make it a bit harder to squeeze in those big long hours. I might get a long sleeping on about Tuesday. And 20K is a big milestone. Do you have anything planned? Says Not Everyday Cultist. Well, I never expected us to hit 10,000. 20,000, it is a huge number. Maybe like reacting to old videos could be something to look at. The thing is, I feel like it's going to be a weird one that maybe only a few people are actually interested in watching if we did like a reacting to old things, but there's some very embarrassing old videos that the Kiwi lads have got that might be worth a bit of a crack. We could actually do an old Rugby Challenge 3 video that me and George did before the Kiwi lads was even a channel. We did it Highlanders career mode. We could release an episode of that. See how you guys feel about it. And I was really there. Wait, I've missed this. There's a lady details. Average details, says Gareth. Yes, I have got myself a girlfriend, Gareth. Believe it or not, somehow it still surprises me that I hardly left the lounge and I somehow, ended up with a lady friend. Her mum actually rung on the live stream yesterday. That was fun. Although I did not answer. But I did ring her back afterwards. And there was indeed a lady, says Not Everyday Cultist, and also, no, let her travel, says Richard. There's no, it's all right. I don't mind traveling. And a Canterbury Chica stolen our Hamish's heart, says Sebastian. But Chris Smith, he's going to be kicking that one down into touch from inside of the 22. Nice kick. Yeah. And now 40 metres out from the line, it is going to be the Sharks line out. But yeah, I think she might end up appearing on a live stream at some stage in the near future or the distant future. I'm not too sure. I think it just depends on when we end up, I guess, having a live stream that's on at a decent hour while she is either here or if she ends up staying here for a bit, maybe like a random 3 a.m. live stream might be a decent idea. But Robala takes it nicely. Cameron Wright goes back across. Big shot on Putskaita. And also the Sharks have been moving up nicely, like pendulum swinging from the Bulls to the Sharks. Close, not much space between them. Can you play an Xmas song on the cute guitar, Hamish, says Ruth? Christmas songs. Do I know any Christmas songs? I know. But that's not a Christmas song. Also, we have the Yes Gareth, they're a lady, one problem, not a big rugby fan. She doesn't mind rugby. Like, I wouldn't say... Like, compared to me, it's hard to find someone who is on that same level of watches every single random live stream or, like, match in the middle of the night. But, like, you know, she'll watch rugby, no worries. She'll watch other sport and everything. I can't think of any Christmas songs. How do you play Jingle Bells? Jingle all the way. That was not how you would play it. And Jingle Bells, baby, says Ruth. As well. And also we have got there, if she's staying at there, you got much better things to do at 3 a.m. Says Gareth, and behave yourself, Gareth. Says Not Everyday Cultist. And also, do you think there's a chance she could be up at this late hour and lurking on stream, says Sebastian? Not sure. I know that she will still be at the party, I believe, because that's actually who I went to the Halloween party with. So I think she's still at the party. I did get a Snapchat earlier on. I hardly know how to use Snapchat, to be honest, but she's taught me a little bit. But yeah, she did send one near the start of the live stream just saying, have a good stream. So, I don't know, maybe she'll see me on this one. And I was like, Gareth, your guess is Richard. Looks like there's going to be a big change here for the Sharks. Kieran van Veeren, Thomas Tatoy, and also Machunu all going off the field here for the Sharks. Full front row replacements. It's going to be thrown in. That was not straight. And that is unfortunate for them because that is actually the first throw that we've seen from Uster. And the first throw is a wonky one. Drank a lot of water in just that one turn. It's not going to be good for the sleep schedule. I'll probably end up having a pee at all hours of the morning. Which is, I'm kind of weird. Like, if I go to sleep, I was just going to ask, do you wake up when do you need to pee during the night? But I'm not going to ask that question. For me, I don't need to normally. Just wait till the morning. I just continue with the scrum feed. At the moment, in favour of the Bulls, Zach Berger puts the ball in. Now it's available off the back. WJ Stenkamp gets wrestled down. Nice work there in the breakdown from the Sharks to try and get that counter ruck going. 40 metres out from the line. Zach Berger going to be rolling it back once again. And also we have got their lovely sense of humour. Hope there's some fireworks, like more tries soon. Kiwi lads, are you watching on Xmas and New Year? If all rugby's finished for the year then. So I believe on Christmas Eve and Boxing Day, we'll probably be doing the BBL on the channel. And then also New Year's Eve, we might be doing a bit of cricket, but I would also like to take someone to some fireworks. So that might be something that happens. And she could be watching. Gareth is not everyday culture. She'll be laughing. I know that her and her mum went back and watched when her mum rung on the live stream. And they were watching the rest of the stream after that. Nice work from Chris Smith now. So down to the ground. Zach Berger goes across the Ruanukia now. Making a couple extra meters. Kicked him on by Zach Berger. Once again, is water free down there? I believe so. I think so anyway. Or it is from the tap. Not in the bottle, though. You do still have to pay for the bottles. Vernicock with a nice run down the wing. I believe this will be close to the last play of the day that we cover, or we might get up to 50 minutes. And then we will end up transferring over to our rugby league stream, which is exciting. What we're going to do is we're going to quickly go like this. Go like this as well. I can actually start setting it up now while we've got a stoppage in play, get a little bit strategic with it. Like that is a good plan to have. They are actually interviewing Jason Taumalolo, of course, making his way back into this side. I should probably not do too much of the rugby league commentary as of yet, seeing as the URC is still taking place. They are just showing Bjorta Chamberlain there. He's a dangerous man when he gets going. Connor Hendricks, he's been silent throughout this game. We haven't seen a huge amount of him. Nowhere near as much as we would have liked to see anyway of that man. Like I say now, huge drive from the Sharks. They're only going to be sitting about 30 metres out now, I believe. No, in fact, sorry, it's 5 metres out from the line. I was trying to get worked out with where they were on the field, but now the cutout passing is same. That's a beautiful run. And Apalele Fassi will score the try. He is celebrating right in front of the Bulls supporters, just firing them up a little bit more. Nicely done by the Sharks once again. They will now take the lead. If the Bulls score next, I think it's safe to jump over as the Sharks run themselves in the try. This is going to be a tough game to walk away from. That is for sure. But we will be transferring over to that Tonga versus Cook Islands live stream extremely soon. And yes, same as here. But they are looking forward, or they're looking to charge for a worst time ever, says Sebastian. Yeah. Yeah, it was perfect in all the wrong ways, wasn't it, Sebastian? on that one. But while we are at it, I'm going to take off my Santa belt. Don't worry, I'm not completely undressing on the live stream, ladies and gentlemen. We're just taking off the belt of the Santa costume. There we go. Loosen the trench coat. That kick has gone over, so it's going to make the score 17 points to 16 in favor of the Sharks. But what we will be doing in the next, I'd say, 5 minutes or so, ladies and gentlemen, is we will be switching over to the next live stream. Now, I see that Spark's going to be playing up, so I think I'm going to be watching this game from an iPad rather than a phone. Or I might be able, actually, no, I'll probably watch it on a phone rather than an iPad, so that will work out not too badly for myself. Dylan Richardson looks like he is injured at the moment, so that is the last thing that they would have been wanting. Yeah, taken off the field. I know BBC are using BBC 3 again. Boo, says Richard English. Yeah, that one's going to be kicked into touch. A good kick downfield from Apalele Fasi. But yeah, Richardson looking extremely disappointed there. And gripping stuff is this game. We don't like blowouts anyway, says Sebastian. That is true. We do enjoy a close fixture, and that is exactly what it seems like this one is going to be. I'm just adjusting a tripod. Don't mind me. Is that screwing the right way or the wrong way? Righty-tighty, loosey-goosey. That's the way that it goes, isn't it? So we will go righty-tighty. There we go. I'm going to put that there. We're going to put the phone up on there as well so we can watch the game from a decent position. Currently, the Bulls having a nice run for it. There we go. We're all sorted. Kiwi lads, we do things the unorthodox way. I wish my computer would be able to play Spark Sport without having problems, though. That seems to be something that needs to be worked on in the near future. I believe Fassi will kick it in behind. Looking for the 50-22. He might have got it too as well. Beautiful kick from Apalele Fassi. Now we have to watch this to see whether or not they do get successful off this one. But it's a great kick downfield from Apalele Fassi. Now the Sharks once again taking the territory game into their own hands. This is going to be an interesting finish to the match. I'm going to have to watch it closely as well while we are doing our other one, which we are getting close to organised for. And have you ever listened to some disco music while watching a game? It's quite different. I've done a little bit of music listening in the past while doing live streams. It works all right if you have it on low, but as soon as you accidentally turn it up too high, that is when you end up getting relatively excited and you just end up listening to the music rather than concentrating on the game. This looks like I'm very well dressed, but it's not really the case. It's just the fact that I had this on when I was Harry Potter. It's going to be the penalty to the Bulls, so it doesn't go the way that the Sharks were after, but the Bulls taking the quick tap now as Zach Berger tries to find the pass on the outside, gives it off to David Creel, who now kicks it downfield, looking for his own 50-22. He's got plenty of distance on it, but the Bulls just going to pull up 10 meters out from the line. Fassi now gives it off to Werner Koch, who will be kicking for the touchline down the middle of the park. He does manage to find it as well. Very nicely done by Werner Koch there. And great, you're good fun, says Ruth. And there as well. I feel like my shirt doesn't look very nice at the moment, does it? It looks like it's all crinkled, but I think that's just from, it's also now red from the Santa suit. But yeah, unfortunately, it's just from having it crinkled inside of a Harry Potter cloak. And also, there go Bolt. We now, you win, we love you, says Ina there. And also, we over there, you look like you're about to be baptized. Maybe. Ron Nokia. We're currently 3:20. Next live stream will be starting at 3:25. Now, the good thing is we have been able to get it relatively well worked out in terms of transferring live streams very quickly. And that is from in the past that we have been doing those live streams for the sevens. Backline movement for the Bulls once again. So as soon as this ball goes out or anything, I believe that will be the last one. If the France versus Samoa Rugby League game the lads played earlier, if anything to go by, it should be a cracker. Comeback wins are always a treat, just like the Stormers win yesterday. See, not the everyday cultist in there as well. But yeah, I'm hoping it is a close game between Samoa and France, because at the end of the day, it is for a spot in the quarterfinals. I hope both sides play well, but I think Samoa should be able to get themselves the win. It is going to be Just a wait and see fixture though. Right, we need this ball to go out so we can transfer over to our next live stream. But they are just taking their time. They don't have a halfback at the moment. This is going to be a tight one. Being told to use it. It looks like it's going to be Justa, who now slings it back into the pocket. Kick down the middle of the field from Chamberlain there. Now waiting for it on the halfway line. Beautifully taken by the Bulls. Looks like a penalty going the way of the Sharks. No, they've been able to turn it over. Now it's kicked behind by Cameron Wright. Now looking for the 50-22 of his own. It's going to curl towards the touchline. Does just stay in the field of play. It's kicked downfield. Goes into touch from Hussein Wright. We will be transferring over to our next live stream now, ladies and gentlemen. We'll keep you updated on this matchup as it progresses. We will be going over to the Tonga versus Cook Islands one that is starting in a very short moment. But thank you all very much for tuning in. If you did enjoy, be sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. We will be back in a very short moment. Nate, we are going straight over to the Rugby League, and I will answer your question about being a Mormon in a very short moment. But I will see you all for the next one.